Our next speaker comes from an organisation who, are one of those that are not doing the right thing because they've got to do it in order to win work, because they've got to tick that box. Eric Wright do it because it's what they do. And I think they're a unique organisation that take things way beyond CSR. And, the revolutionaries in the room, all power to you, mates. Our speaker is another FM I've known for about 20, 30 years, and a good friend, is MD of Eric Wright FM. He's going to talk about making the case for getting involved, but he hasn't told me who he's going to make the case to. Maybe to you. George Lilley.
I wish there was, Eric. Thank you. So I was asked to make the case for getting involved by Elliot. So I phoned Elliot up and said, to who? And he goes, I don't know. So just do it. So I thought, okay, then you've got shareholders, you've got customers, you've got employees. And I thought, well, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the employee bit. I knew I was following Guy. So I kept away from his strong points and just stayed on my own strong points, as it were. For those that don't know Eric Wright, we are very different, as Martin alludes to. We're a commercially focused business with a social purpose. And we were doing social value a long time ago, as you'll see in the sort of slides. And it's not about winning work. It's about doing the right thing. And you need to think about that. You need to think about doing the right thing. And if you get work as a consequence, that's great. But let's do the right thing, eh? So, profit for a purpose is our strapline. So my job is not dissimilar to the people's jobs in here. I'm on the bottom of the pile. I'm in the group's focus. But we are owned by trust. And that trust does amazing things. I'm going to share a little bit about that in a second. But basically, their role is to continue the charitable giving strategy. Fine. My job is to make a profit. It's to make a profit for a purpose. So we're very, very clear about that in the group. Really clear about it. So I just want to play a little video that hopefully gets that message across.
I wish I didn't feel so lonely.
I wish I had a future.
Why do you come to work? To pay the bills? To feel part of a team? Or maybe even to feel responsibility? Well, for me, it's more than that. Our work here makes a real difference. We're part of the Eric Wright Group, which is 100% owned by the Eric Wright Charitable Trust. The trust was founded on the belief that the role of business is not to create wealth for the few, but to help build a strong community. Each year, our profits are either reinvested back into the business or donated to the trust in aid of charitable activities. The trust provides funding for disadvantaged children to attend the water park. It supports local charities and it helps young people achieve vocational qualifications. Everything you do helps us create profit for a purpose. And here is how you can make a difference.
You can embrace change.
You can speak up.
You can participate. You can respect others.
You can share your knowledge.
You can praise your peers.
You can challenge yourself.
You can make a difference.
Because of the work you do, my school trip was paid for. I'll never forget this day.
Because of the work you do and receiving support from a local charity, I don't feel lonely anymore.
Because of the work you do, I'm learning a vocation at college. My future looks bright.
So we make profit for a purpose, and it's a great place to work. It's absolutely fantastic. Just drilling in a little bit about the trust, it's got 4 segments to it. One's the water park, one's the learning foundation, and one's the major grants that they do, and then the match funding. And I'm going to drill into match funding in a second, because I want to make this conversation a little bit more relevant to everybody in the room. Because at this point you're sitting there going, you're a lucky bugger. You work in an organisation that actually does everything for the social value. Your job must be easy. It's not. I've got to make profit for a purpose. If I don't make profit, I'll get sacked. Just like everybody else out there. That simple. So I just want to drill a little bit and go, okay, Lakeland, the water park, which was Mr. Wright's vision. He made me start and wear ties again, by the way. He's about 80, and you can't not wear a tie in front of Mr. Wright. You just can't, because the man commands such respect. I had to buy some when I got a new job there. 87,000 children have attended the water park since it opened in 1998. That's 87,000 lifetime experiences and dreams that will stay with them kids for their life. And what we do is we fund the kids that can't afford to go there. That's what we do. The Learning Foundation is my personal favourite because I think it changes a life. It just doesn't leave you with a memory. It changes your life. So we've had 3,764 people attend and acquire vocational qualifications. What does that mean? We go into schools and we take away the guys on the lower end of the academic spectrum, and we give them vocational training so that at 16 they will stand a far, far better chance at getting an apprenticeship. And then grants, which is where the money goes, we recycle 2 million of our profits a year into great causes in the places where we work. And we're challenged at the minute because we used to score very highly on CSR. Now we don't, because these are not project specific. So I need to work out how to get around that challenge, because we don't get scored on it. And that's really tough. But 2 million a year going into charities. So, as I said, I want to focus on making the case to employees, because that's where the engagement is, and Guy touched on that. And what you need to understand, I think what everybody understands here, is actually people want to make a difference. You go in any organisation. I was fortunate enough to work for 4 years in Vinci. It's an amazing organisation. People want to make a difference. They really do. But we've got a problem. And the problem is how we engage with our employees, how we talk to them, how we get them, how we help them to make that difference. So I'm going to do a hands-up thing here. So in terms of community days, Vinci have branded this, I'm going to have to nick it, sorry Rory. So they call it So Mad Days, stand out and make a difference. Fantastic branding. Where you can take a day out and you can go and do something in the community that makes a difference to you, right? And we do match funding. So who sits in organisations that does match funding or communities? Just a quick hand. You don't have to be embarrassed. So that's pretty much the majority of people in the room, right? Now I work in an amazing organisation where social value just steeped in the organisation. So the reality is, in 2021, and these are horrible stats, right? 1% of the available community days was taken, and only 2.4% of match funding. It's damning, isn't it? It's really poor. And you sit there and you go, oh, well, it must have been COVID. Must have been COVID. I'm all right. I'll do 2019. No, not a lot better. Not really a lot better. So you kind of sit there. Now, I don't think that these stats are very different to your stats. And I'd like you to just reflect on that. Do you actually know the figures? Probably not. Why do you not know the figures? Because as leaders, you think you've done your job by writing the policy, by making people available. Oh, you can do this. You think you've done your job. Just hang on that thought. The problem is communications. So I went out and I talked to all of the guys, because I like talking. And you come back after the roadshows and you can see just how much internal communications was a problem in our business. Why? Because it's all top down. So email to all doesn't actually get to all. It gets to about 60% of your employees. Oh, that's all right. We'll do cascading. We've got meetings. We can do all that. Yeah, it'll get down. And you explore there. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So we introduced an app, an employee app. We introduced Blink. Now, if the guys were here, I'd be charging them a fortune because this is free advertising for them, right? So I will say, in the words of the BBC, other apps are available, and they are. And there's an emergence of employee frontline-related apps on the market now. And I just wanted to touch on three functionalities of the app. One's feed, one's chat, one's directory. The feed is great, so hopefully Kim in the corner will be feeding out now. This is what George is up to. And that will touch 90-odd% of our people, right? So as I was sat there at the start, I sent a little note out to everybody in my business, all my frontline workers, my cleaners, my site supervisors and things like that, going, damn, I wished I'd rehearsed more. That's all I need. That's all you need to do. A little damn, I wished I'd rehearsed more. It's human, isn't it? So that's the feed. And then what you've got is chat, where people can just chat with each other. And what that does is it allows people to communicate horizontally. And it's no longer top-down, it's horizontal. Horizontal communication. You are building proper teams. They can create their own teams. You can create little groups. I'll have a cleaning group in this building, or I'll have a cleaning group generally. It's helping on the comms front. Directory really surprised me at how valued that became by my frontline workers. Because they could look at the directory and they felt part of the organisation. Such a small thing that when you're sat in an office you take for granted. But when you're on the front line and you're feeling isolated, you think, God, I am part of something. And that's what Reese was talking about there. So 95% of the workforce use the app. And that breaks down to people that talk a lot and post a lot, and people that just graze and just watch what's going on. And that's absolutely fine, isn't it? Because we can now communicate. So I just wanted to drill into a couple of case studies around community engagement, because what I wanted to do is get this presentation away from, well, it's easy now, right? Because you're community focused and you're this, that, the other. I'm sorry, no, I've got to make a profit. But my team have to get out there and do community days. And I've already given you the stats in terms of how good that was, because it's pretty poor. So basically, I'll give you this example, and I've been practicing how to say this. You say this as filed. So in my head, I've got file. Filed sand dunes. And basically, we got permission from the council at 4 o'clock to send a squad of people across, 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. I posted at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night on Blink, a couple of pictures, and just said, looking for volunteers. Who's going to come? Lots of chit-chat, Tuesday evening. By 10 o'clock in the morning, we had 8 volunteers confirmed. In 2021, the total number of community days in our organisation was 9. That tells you how good that is. I'm going to talk a little bit about match funding, because we all do match funding, because you all had your hands up. All right, so Kirsten works in our office, and she did Brave the Shave. And you can see, stunning girl with hair that was, I now know, 64 centimetres in length. And she wanted to do it because she wanted to thank Macmillan, who looked after our granddad, who had cancer at the end of his life. And that started in the typical fashion. Right? Yeah, we'll have a bit of a chat around the office, and there's a bit of energy in the office. And then we posted it on Blink, and that got a lot of energy. And then we go into stuff I don't really understand. We managed, I have no idea how, to get a live viewing of the shave on Teams. And then something called Facebook that'll never catch on. I once predicted that bottled water would never catch on. That's how bad and wrong you can be, right? I couldn't understand it. Why would anybody pay £1 for a bottle of water? Still don't understand it. But then again, I'm a tight Geordie. So basically, we went out on Facebook. So this is becoming quite an event. And on the day, I can't explain to you the emotions that were running around in the office on the day. I can't convey it. I can't get it across. But there's one thing, that twist that just came on the spur of the moment on the day. And we created a Thinking of You notice board. And we just wrote out on the notice board your loved ones who had been impacted by cancer. And on that notice board, and my dad's on there, and my uncle Ronnie, and my best friend Hugh. And on that notice board, I started to see things and then I realised I now understand you a bit better as a person. So one of the guys went out and did a lot of running last year. His name's on the notice board because he lost his wife, who left the 3 children behind. And you start and you really build an organisation from the heart, because that's where an organisation should be. We raised 2,500 of match funding in that one event. That was the maximum the trust gives out, 2,500 for a group. In 2019, the total match funding that the group give out, who are delighted to give you this money, by the way, total figure, 7,000. So it's all about communications, but really my message is to you. It really is to you. Because you need to understand that leadership is key. You're all in a position of leadership in your organisations. So just turn it around a little bit. Go, what are you actually doing? Are you sitting bemoaning the fact that not enough So Mad days are done? Or you're actually getting off your backside and doing something about it? Go out there and lead. Because if you lead, you can do more to help. That's where I'll finish.